Alright! Welcome to this Honcast.com presentation. I'm BreakyCPK and I'm gonna be your shoutcasting host. Joining me is Phil the Thrill of the Honcastmyself, and this is a TMM number 786010088. And we see right here Team Hivent on the Legion side actually facing out Team Twiglet Zen on the Hellborn side, and we actually see from the beginning of the game some callouts on the Hellborn side, you actually being mad that like 30 seconds in the game and actually not realizing he can actually mute the brown player who seems to be talking for he's been talking for like 50 seconds right now. So in the meantime, we see some picks right there. We see Midas actually getting right-clicked by this brown player, actually going Santa Midas and readying up right there. We see lag. We've seen it before, like actually wanting to go Malikan right there, and some right clicks, Kraken and Nighttown. Nighttown would be pretty bad in considering the Hellborn side actually has 3 melee already. So, anyways, we see 2 picks already on the Legion side. We can't really tell right now, but I mean we're gonna see shortly. But I mean, first thing first, I'm joined by Phil. So how you doing, Phil? Well, you know, I'm doing great. I mean, all you said is completely right, for sure. I mean, yeah. Okay, yeah, thank you, Phil. In the meantime, we see some more readies. So we're gonna see a Kraken, Malikan, Chipper, Glacius, and Midas lineup on the Hellborn side, which is a pretty decent lineup. We're probably gonna see Chipper mid, Midas and someone else, probably Midas and Malikan in the lane, or maybe Midas and Kraken top and Malikan Glacius bottom or something. That'll be a pretty good lane considering they have a Legionnaire. So we're gonna see a Legionnaire actually jungling on the Legion side, and actually 3 more melees. So we're probably gonna see Magmus. Well, actually either of the 3 melees going mid, probably Magmus or Gemini, maybe Rampage, you never know, and Andrew should probably lane with Rampage, probably Gemini solo bot and Magmus solo mid. But I mean, we can't really tell right now. I mean, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's probably what we're gonna see. And we actually see Malikan going top, so we're gonna see Malikan and Glacius top and Kraken Midas bottom instead. Which is, I mean, a pretty... I mean, it's a fine lane. And we see... actually, Kraken wanting to go mid against a melee hero, which is fine. I mean, it's not gonna be a bad lane. So we're gonna see Chipper and Midas bottom, which is, I mean, it's a decent lane. It's not the best for sure, but you can't have it all. You know, it's single draft, but I mean, single draft is clearly the most competitive mode for sure. I mean, it's fair. Both teams get 3 heroes to choose from on every player, so I mean, like, what's more fair than that? Yeah, that's yeah, pretty much Breaky. That's exactly what I think about it too. Oh, thank you for the input right there, Phil. Yeah, sure, no problem. I mean, that's what I'm here for. I mean, I'm here for competitive insight. So, anyways, we see actually Glacius picking up the Rune Ward. We're gonna see Midas actually warding the pull right there so they don't actually get dominated bottom. And that's pretty much it. It's gonna be pretty hard to get kills in the bottom lane. And Grey, yet again, you know, actually trying to interrupt this brown player who's actually spreading out the knowledge, and Grey actually not realizing he can mute people in game. Like, it's like he's from like the 1900s or something, and like doesn't really understand. So we see Gemini mid against the Kraken. It's probably gonna be a pretty good matchup, and we're gonna see Magmus bottom. So hard to kill, but he's probably gonna get pretty much 0 farm against this Midas and Chipper. I mean, semi-range and full range against him. So we're gonna see Huge in the Nice coming out, and he didn't even get a shield, so this is pretty bad for him. I mean, we actually see that from the lower level people, and that's usually pretty bad. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like, you could tell the difference between some people. Like, a shield is really good when you actually just want levels, you know. You're not gonna farm against 2 ranged bottoms, so why get a hatchet? Like, to throw it every, like, 30 seconds, that's really bad. I mean, like, he actually got one right there, but it's not really gonna matter. That's probably the only one he's gonna get in a while. And, you know, like, hatchet is good when you're, like, melee versus melee, but other than that, it's pretty bad. Oh, wow, thank you, Phil. That's, like, really... I'm glad to hear that, you know. It's actually refreshing to hear you actually say something that matters. What do you mean? I mean... Oh, nothing. I mean, anyways, we see actually Kraken probably dominating this Gemini mid in CS because of his splash ability. Ooh, I mean, it got nerfed a while ago, but it's still really good against any melee. Kraken being one of the only melee heroes who can actually stand up against an Amun-Ra, for example, so... Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, splash. I mean... Well, I mean, Bricky, you would know, like, Bricky, CP Kraken, you know. Yeah, nice joke, yeah. I mean, that's really original, Phil. Well, thank you, Bricky. I mean, I'm glad you appreciate my joke. No, actually, Phil, that was sarcasm. Huh? Anyways, we actually see Andrew and Rampage being top against this Glacius and Malikan lane. Probably see Malikan farm up pretty fast. He's gonna rush his steam boots for sure. And after that, probably gonna dominate the lane. I mean, we see steam boots, Malikan with early steam boots, we see that dominate really fast. You know, it's just with his sword and stuff, it's hard to stop. Oh yeah, for sure. And we see actually Magnus, you know, picking up some pretty good levels. Actually got a main up on this Midas right there, but Midas, like, not caring, it seems like, and forcing Magnus out of the lane. And a couple of good rockets right there by Chipper, forcing Magnus to probably use his health pot. Which is, I mean, it's really important, you know, just when he's out of regen, he can't really come out and come close. So we see actually a Legionnaire right there farming, and we might actually see a gank, but no, Malikan actually dying in first blood to this Rampage. So this is pretty bad news for the Hellborn side, who just saw their main carry player dying to another carry player on the... We see a couple missed rockets right there by this Stripper, but I mean, still good harassment, and Magnus still refusing to use his mana on his surge to escape. In the meantime, we see actually Midas hoarding his mana for no reason, even if he has a Glacius on his team, so we might actually see him spam some more spells in the future. Missing last hits for no reason as well, so this is really bad plays by this Midas, but I mean, it's you can't really argue. I mean, we're just casters, and we see like this competitive players playing in these games. So we see actually Gemini picking up a bottle against this Kraken. Kraken actually landing a stun on him and doing some pretty good damage. We see Midas actually roaming, trying to harass this Legionnaire, but Legionnaire actually being pretty like back there. But we see actually Midas probably gonna pick off this Gemini right there, and yes, he does. I mean, combos him perfectly, and that's really good for the mid player. We see actually Magnus ganking his Chipper. Chipper actually missing his 2 rockets yet again, but I mean, nothing too much. No real harassment from this Magnus when you think about it, so it's not too bad. We're gonna see this Midas actually picking up a mana ring pretty soon. He has it in the bank. He just needs a chicken. And Magnus actually getting his level 5, which is really good for him. In the meantime, he actually gets comboed by this Midas, getting harassed a bit, and get a big couple of rockets right there by this Chipper to harass him further in. Magnus actually stunning in onto this Chipper and Midas, but probably gonna get some very big harassment from them, but he's gonna steam bat at the tower and just stay there, actually juking the rocket, and Gemini coming in, probably gonna pick off this Chipper. Chipper actually getting healed by this Midas, but it's not enough, you know. Midas actually trying to get out of there, but probably gonna die before dying, because he's gonna die to this stun from Magnus. But Magnus actually going, and we see actually someone TPing, cancelling the attacks from the tower, but Chipper is actually gonna finish off this Magnus with an easy rocket, but actually Rocket's getting blocked off by Gemini, and Magnus might actually live right there, but a big rocket by Chipper, actually 12 HP on Magnus, and actually using his power, his mana battery right there, so he's gonna live. A pretty bad news for this this Chipper. Gemini actually picking up a regen rune. Chipper's gonna slow as soon as he can, actually landing 2 rockets on the Gemini right there, and we see Kraken charging in and finishing up this this Gemini. So all in all, a one-in-one trade for this Midas and Kraken, which is pretty good trade on the Hellborn side. And we see actually Kraken farming really well and actually asking if he wants a PK or Mog first. So I mean, it's pretty interesting. I mean, between those two items, I mean, it's not the best items all around, but I mean, Mog is clearly better against the other team, since they're probably gonna get the initiation anyways, and PK on Kraken isn't as good as it used to be, like before the Kraken change. So Gemini actually going in on Chipper right there, missing his stun, but landing his but Midas actually missing his combo right there, but still gonna pick up the Gemini with his blink. So even a Fist of Salt Town coming out. So my Gemini actually trying to separate himself right there, but not working. So this is really bad for him. What do you think about the Midas changes, Phil? Well, it's kind of good, but it's kind of like this this Midas player, the brown player. I mean, you could tell he's brown. I mean, so it's kind of obvious he didn't read the patch notes. So he actually realizes his heal is on longer cooldown than his slow right now. So he actually leveled the wrong spell. So he might actually change his skill build as the game goes. But I mean, what can you do? It's kind of too late right now. He actually has some 3 points into his heal right now, which isn't bad, but might not be the best build anymore. We see Magnus actually getting nuked really hard by this Chipper. Chipper actually wanting to use his ult on this Magnus, but Magnus actually gonna go into the woods. Chipper actually getting healed by Midas and getting some runes of the blight given to him. So this is pretty good support by this Midas. A creep wave, full creep wave actually coming on, and we see Magnus actually using a health pot right there, and a big initiation onto this Malikan on Rampage. Actually might die to the Glacius auto attacks right there. Glacius and the Hell Cannon, but Glacius mending down, actually stopping to attack him. And then he's gonna die. Chipper actually TPing top and finishing this Rampage, and might actually finish his Andromeda with a stun. But big, yet again, Kraken being active and, you know, going top, finishing the Andro, and getting some more assist gold for his team. So this is a pretty active Hellborn team right there, and it seems like it's paying off. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you see the Hellborn team with actually 7 kills versus 5 kills for the Legion side. So I mean, of course it's paying off, but I mean, it's only 2 kills, Breaky. You know, that's 2 kills. Ain't the it's not the end of the world. Well, you know, like, you could say that, but I mean, you could actually say that the Midas actually getting initiated on by this Magnus right here. Magnus ult actually not finishing the Midas. Midas actually manning up, but actually living with 30 HP. Oh, big sword toss by this Malikan, but not finishing off. That Magnus actually gets swapped off by this Andromeda. Andromeda actually stunning this Malikan. Legionnaire charging in, taunting this Malikan. Malikan actually gonna ult out. And in the meantime, we see Kraken actually killing this Rampage top, and Malikan escaping right there. So this is all in all a good fight for the Hellborn side. Kraken actually choosing to go Mawk as his first item. I mean, we don't see that often, but I mean, he has a really good farm, so I mean, you could say it's a pretty good item. I mean, that's what we love about Team Twitlet Zen. You know, they actually keep innovating. You know, they just pick up items you don't see often. You know, just pick weird lineups, and they actually seem to make it work all the time. So I mean, hats off to them. We see actually Malikan getting initiated on by this Gemini and Andromeda. And we see actually right there, Gemini actually getting comboed right there by Midas, and so we're gonna see the chase keep going, and we see Chipper actually landing some pretty big rockets on this Legionnaire. Yet again, another rocket, and we're gonna see Gemini actually nuking this Legionnaire out of the fog. So big plays right there. Pretty big skill shots from this Chipper and Midas to finish 2 players off, and Malikan actually getting out of there. So this is really good. Big initiation and big fight for the Midas and Chipper player and the Hellborn side in general. So we see actually Kraken finish picking up his sort of the high at 11 minutes. I mean, if he picks up a Mog pretty soon, we could see some pretty like crazy farm on this Kraken. And like considering the Legion side is pretty under level, they're gonna have some trouble killing him even if he has no HP items. And like Kraken with a big strength farm, I mean strength gain. I mean, I know that of course because Kraken's my favorite hero, and they actually made the model after my my appearance. So I mean, of course I know that kind of stuff, so can't wait to see how he does with his Mog. In the meantime, we see Malikan actually getting some pretty decently fast steam boots. I mean, we could see his farm catapult from there. We see Glacius, Chipper, and Midas actually getting initiated on by this Magnus and Gemini. We see Midas actually stunning this Magnus, who didn't have his stun to actually keep on going right there, and we're gonna see Midas actually TPing to his own tower right there, so he can actually turn around. But we're gonna see no follow up from the Hellborn, the Legion side, and that's it for that. So we only see Glacius falling to this Magnus ult from the side, which was pretty decent. In the meantime, we see Malikan farming away mid against this Legionnaire who actually has a Helm of the Black Legion at 12 minutes, which is, I mean, we could say it's bad, but I mean, can't really blame him for having no farm. In the meantime, we see Chipper staying bottom with his bottle. The bottle in the sideline, I mean, it's pretty decent. It's not the best item, of course, but I mean, sometimes you need it. I mean, if you're gonna go bottle and Chalice, that's a pretty good combo. We see Gemini yet again missing a stun right there, slowing Chipper, but the Chipper's gonna get away really easily fine. We see Andromeda actually roaming mid. Glacius actually like counter roaming mid, so that's probably gonna be a 2v2 fight between Legionnaire and Malikan along with Glacius and Andromeda. So we see actually Midas wanting to initiate on this Gemini, missing his initial hit from the Elemental War, but actually we see Glacius getting initiated on by this Magnus right there. Midas getting ulted by Rampage. Big ult, big release of Kraken by this Kraken, actually catching Rampage and most of the team really. And we see Midas actually missing his snipe on this Rampage, but you actually can tell he wants to get the kill. So we see actually Andromeda right there gonna get slowed by this Midas, and big rocket right there by this Chipper. Kraken actually still not satisfied with his ult. I mean, he thinks a portal key would have made it the fight easier for him, but I mean, can't argue with that ult quality. You know, it just can't do much more right there. That ult was, you could say, as he says, golden. You know, just Glacius actually dying really soon right there, but actually being a really good bait for the Hellborn side, who actually picked off the 3 players, I think it was right there. Yeah, I think that was it, Breaky. And we see actually Rampage being still bot, but actually gonna get counter-initiated on by this Midas, but Midas not killing him, you know, not enough damage coming out. We see Rampage like keep chasing this Midas, but I mean, that might be a pretty wrong decision, as Chipper actually wastes his ult, but big rockets to actually finish off this Magnus. We see actually Legionnaire gonna try and kill this Midas. Midas actually blinking in the woods, dodging the Magnus stun, who's aced it actually. And we see big concentration of heroes. We see Kraken actually maining up on this Gemini and Legionnaire, and we see actually Midas trying to kill it. And we see some really big kills by this Legion side, and yet again Magnus landing an ult from the trees without a PK. It actually wants to kill this Midas right now, but it's not gonna happen. Big ult yet again by this Kraken, and actually gonna finish him right there. Head trick coming out for Kraken with his Mog at 15 minutes. So we see a concede vote already from the Legion side, and that's probably gonna be the game. GG, well played, come out, and the concede passes.